I think most of us think of wrath as just, well, really intense anger.
Like anger turned up to 11.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the source we're looking at today, 12 Deadly Sins, Part 3, it completely flips that idea on its head.
It really does. It argues that we're making a huge category error by even putting them on the same scale.
A category error. And
Yeah.
so our mission in this deep dive is to unpack that,
Yeah.
to distinguish anger as a healthy signal from wrath as this really destructive weapon.
And they are driven by completely different psychological machinery.
Okay, so let's start with anger as a signal. The source calls it a boundary defense.
Right. And the analogy it uses, which I think is great, is that healthy anger is like a security system.
Okay.
If someone throws a brick through your window, the alarm goes off. It's loud, it's intense, but it has one specific job: to say,
Yeah.
hey, boundary crossed, fix this.
Something is wrong here.
Precisely. And once the window is fixed, the alarm shuts off. It's proportional to the problem.
Whereas wrath,
Uh-huh.
the text describes it as unregulated and weaponized.
Yeah.
So if anger is the alarm, what's wrath?
Wrath is running out the door and burning down the intruder's entire house in response.
Wow. Okay, so anger wants to fix the window. Wrath wants to annihilate the person who broke it.
Wants domination, not resolution, and that shift in objective is everything.
But here's something from the source that I kind of struggled with. It says wrath actually feels good, that we choose it. And I find that strange because when I'm that angry, I don't feel good. I feel, out of control.
You feel out of control, but you also feel powerful, and that's the seduction of it.
Okay.
The source makes this fascinating point. Wrath is almost always a cover-up operation. Underneath all that fire, there's usually something much softer and harder to face.
Like what?
Like deep shame or sense of betrayal or just this gnawing fear of being insignificant.
So it's a mask.
It's the ultimate mask. The text calls it externalizing pain. Your brain basically goes, I can't stand feeling this small, so I'm going to make you feel small instead.
You trade vulnerability for vengeance.
Exactly. You transfer your own suffering onto someone else.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
But it explains why righteous indignation can feel so addictive.
It's a painkiller, a very, very expensive one.
Right. And that gets us to the cost of wrath section. It talks about a multiplier effect.
1 injury becomes 10. That's the quote. The second you switch from defending yourself to punishing someone else, empathy it shuts down. Nuance is gone.
You stop seeing a person. You just see a target.
And because you've dehumanized them, you feel completely justified in escalating. That's how you get these awful cycles of violence we see everywhere.
From bad breakups to geopolitical conflict.
Precisely.
So how do we stop it? How do we grab the wheel back? The source is very specific that just telling yourself to calm down is not the answer.
No, because that's just suppression. It just festers.
Yeah.
The source argues for something it calls integration.
Integration. What does that actually mean in the moment?
It means you feel the heat. You acknowledge the alarm is blaring, but you make a conscious choice not to pick up the weapon. You name the hurt that's underneath the anger.
So you have to say to yourself, I'm not just mad, I feel embarrassed, or I feel powerless right now.
Yes. It takes a lot of self-awareness. But I love this line from the text. Strength is regulation.
Not intensity.
Not intensity, no.
Right.
Real power is feeling that anger fully and still choosing to simply, fix the window instead of starting a war.
It's about using clean anger then, restoring order without creating new chaos.
And recognizing that the moment you switch to punishment mode, you're not protecting yourself anymore. You're just feeding your ego.
It's such a vital check-in for everyone. The next time you feel that rage, just ask yourself, am I trying to fix a boundary or am I trying to make someone pay?
Because if the source is right, that urge to punish isn't a sign of your strength. It's actually a sign that you're feeling profoundly powerless.
And that leaves you with a really provocative thought to chew on.
Mm.
If wrath is basically a shield for our deepest insecurities, how many of the aggressive, strong reactions we see in the world or, in the mirror are actually just moments of profound, terrified vulnerability?